which means welcome back. We got Giovanni, Costa, and Henry Jiao coming up right now as well. We got in the back Ben and Hector are going to be playing against each other. Whoever wins, that's going to face the winner of this in our finals. So let's get started. You already saw Giovanni on stream a bit earlier, but Henry on the right is bringing his team onto the camera for the first time. Giovanni on the left, Gengar, Clefairy, Duskmane, Necrozma, Kyogre, Tapu, Lele, and Excelgor. Henry on the right carrying Incineroar, Tapu Fini, Yveltal, Togedemaru, Kyogre, and Metagross. Now Metagross is one of those Pokemon I personally love. It's one of my favorites. I always love to see it on stream, and especially its Mega is absolutely great. It's super powerful. This format's been struggling a little bit, but it definitely has its uses, especially against Giovanni's team. If it carries Stomping Tantrum, it can help against the Duskmane Necrozma, which we did see earlier was not an Ultra Necrozma, and we also have that Tapu Lele, which it can take out, and same with the Clefairy. So I'm excited to see if we get to see that Metagross from Henry's side. But for Giovanni's side, he's got that, like I said, that Duskmane. It definitely is not in the best spot here, but Photon Geyser can take out both the Kyogre and Tapu Fini from Henry's side, partnered with Tapu Lele. I would be very shocked if we don't see both those Psychic types come on the field from Giovanni. I think that combination is really strong, especially with the bulk that Duskmane Necrozma carries. I think that shot, seeing those two, is very high. Both teams are ready to go, so are we. Let's do this. Giovanni going to be on the left side, Henry on the right. Alright, Giovanni. Oh, we're going to see Henry first. He's going to send out Tapu Fini and Incineroar as a lead. Obviously, Clefairy and Kyogre from Giovanni's side. So first ability on the field is going to be that Misty Surge from Tapu Fini, and then we are going to see that Intimidate from Incineroar before that Primal Reversion comes out from Kyogre. So Primal Reversion always goes last, doesn't really give you a clue on where that Kyogre is, but facing it on the other teams, it could be fastest, might be after Fini. Just depends on really what the investment is. If it's a slower one Kyogre, I've seen Giovanni run slower Kyogres in the past, so it could be, then it might be slower than Fini, but other than that, it's most likely going to be fastest. So right off the bat, you have Fake Out from Henry's side. That does pose a bit of a threat to Giovanni. Being able to go for Fake Out and Icy Wind right away is going to be a huge help. Being able to slow Kyogre. Clefairy can't really do much. It can follow me. I think it's got Heal Pulse and maybe Encore. But other than that, it can't attack. But we're not going to see any Fake Out. We're actually just going to see a switch out into Henry's own Kyogre here, which is also going to Primal Revert. So we have two Primal Kyogres facing each other here on the field. And we're going to see the Follow Me from Giovanni's Clefairy. I'm not necessarily sure that will be too useful. It's just Tapu Fini attacking. But it will actually. It's going to go for Nature's Madness, and that'll hit the Clefairy, not the Kyogre. So that Follow Me definitely put in the work as we get a full power of Water Spout in the range from Giovanni's side. It is against two water types though, so both of them take it with around 60 to 70% of HP left on both sides there. So now the question is, do either one of these Kyogres have Thunder? Because that will be crucial. If Giovanni's does, he can hit either the Fini or the Kyogre, and that will ensure that a super effective attack, possibly knocking out either one. If Henry has it, he can hit, obviously, the Kyogre, but it might still do a decent amount on Clefairy, just in case Follow Me comes out again. So Thunder, definitely one of the more underrated moves this format, because you don't see it too much in the Ultra format. It's usually Sacrifice for Protect. Tapu Fini, also, we saw the Nature's Madness. That could definitely pose a threat if Clefairy doesn't Follow Me again, but Clefairy will go for that Follow Me once more. And now all attacks are targeting this Clefairy. We also see Tapu Fini is going to outspeed Giovanni's Kyogre once again. That's the confirmation on that. And we see Thunder from Giovanni's Kyogre. So in that case, Giovanni's Kyogre was able to outspeed Henry's. So we got a lot of speed information right in that turn, but also important for Giovanni and a good turn for him because he was able to get rid of that Kyogre. Doesn't have to deal with it anymore. And now that's one of the restricted legendaries gone from Henry's side.
But that's better than taking 4.
So now Henry has to think about what his next move is going to be. Who does he bring out? Now we did see Incineroar in the back, not necessarily the best spot to bring in Incineroar in against a Kyogre, you know, in the rain. But it is possible to maybe fake out Icy Wind, pick up a bit of a speed advantage, and maybe have a knockout on that Tapu Fini. But we are going to see his second restricted legendary, which is Yveltal. Again, it is in a bit of a tough spot because of the Thunder from Kyogre. That is going to be able to do some decent damage onto Yveltal, getting possibly 2-hit KO, depending if it's Assault Vest or Dark EMZ, or whether or not it can knock out Clefairy hanging on with 44 HP as well. It is one of the more underrated bulky Pokemon in this whole format. Eviolite plus, it already makes a defense, then you have Follow Me, and it's really able to take a lot of hits, even though it's a little Clefairy, and we all love it. But this Yveltal here, I'm thinking if it's got Black Hole Eclipse, Kyogre, there's no better target than Kyogre here. I think they need to definitely save it until the Clefairy is gone because it'll Follow Me, but Henry might be able to knock out a couple things here. If he's able to get rid of that Clefairy or time it right, like now, that Black Hole Eclipse might be crucial, and we are going to see that Black Hole Eclipse coming out right now from the Yveltal. It looks like Henry was able to call that. The protect on the Clefairy here. And with that Black Hole Eclipse going into that Kyogre slot, that's a free hit for Henry here. Very well called. And that Kyogre is going to go down to 41 HP, and the Icy Wind just going to cripple it enough where Henry can take care of it on the next turn. Now we do know Kyogre has Thunder. That can possibly knock out Tapu Fini and cripple Yveltal enough. We do get the speed drop. So there's that now with that speed drop. We are going to see the Thunder hit the Yveltal, and because it's a Z Crystal and a critical hit, that Yveltal is not taking that hit. So Henry now down to his last Pokemon. That's Incineroar, Tapu Fini, both non-legendaries. So he's in a bit of a tough spot here, especially with Giovanni carrying 4 Pokemon still in the back here. Right now I'm thinking the best play would be to fake out Kyogre, and maybe if you have another attacking move on Tapu Fini, go for that onto the Clefairy if you're carrying Moonblast. You know, Tapu Fini has so many good options this format: Gravity, Icy Wind, Light Screen, Heal Pulse, Moonblast, Nature's Madness, as we saw. So it's really unpredictable on what it's going to use. And now, at this point, we're just waiting for Henry to kind of take his time, thinking his strategy through in advance as he sends out his last Pokemon, this Incineroar. And that Intimidate, not going to really affect any of the Pokemon on Giovanni's side, since both of them are special attackers. And Clefairy might not even be an attacker at all, you know. Very, very rarely do you see a Clefairy with an attack. But Clefairy at that yellow health with just around 6, maybe an 1/8 of its health left. Kyogre at even less than that. So now I'm wondering if Fake Out Icy Wind is going to knock out this Kyogre. But that question is for another day, because we're going to see the Kyogre switch out into the Duskmane and the Crozma. Fake Out going to target the Duskmane and the Crozma, and we see that Follow Me from Clefairy for any possible moves like Nature's Madness or Moonblast, but we do see the Nature's Madness, and it misses with the Clefairy. Nature's Madness has such a decent accuracy, it's very hard to see it miss, but it does happen, as you can see now. Now, you know, Giovanni in a decent position definitely still has the upper hand here, but should be wary of what this Incineroar can do. If you don't, you know, looking at Team, the Crozma's not very well equipped to take on Incineroar, but his Kyogre in the back is. If he's carrying Scald or Origin Pulse, that's over right now. The game, pretty much, the game's over. I think he needs to just cripple it a little to get it into a range where Scald will knock out, and then use Kyogre to get rid of it. But how he needs to do that is to first get rid of this Tapu Fini right now, and follow it up with just some sort of chip damage onto this Incineroar. Helping Hand coming out to try and ensure the knockout on one of these two, or at least cripple Incineroar enough. Nature's Madness targeting the Crozma, but it misses. Flare Blitz now going onto the Duskmane Necrozma, and Giovanni is going to bring out his strategy that we saw a lot in the past few formats, weakness policy. That confirms it is not an Ultra Necrozma, it is just Duskbane. There's the recoil damage and Sunsteel Strike coming out. And like I said, once you get rid of Finny, you just need a little bit of chip damage on that Incineroar to get rid of it with the Kyogre. The Incineroar kind of did it to himself with that Flare Blitz, so at this point I'm pretty confident in Giovanni Costa taking this game right now. Yeah, Henry now has to beat the entire rest of Giovanni's team with Incineroar, and against a Water type, it's not really possible. I mean, it is at a little bit of health, and miracles do happen sometimes, but it's mostly good outspeed. You have that little bit of chip damage. You need to really use Flare Blitz. It's over. There's that Flare Blitz one more time. Gonna connect with Necrozma, and gonna survive it for the turn, which means we see this Helping Hand Sunsteel Strike into this Incineroar. It is resistant, so it's not going to do very much. But hey, you know, it still is going to do it. Wow, okay, I spoke too soon. That just knocked it out. I did not know how powerful Helping Hand Sunsteel Strike is. You know, I completely underestimated that. But Giovanni Costa going to take the game. Yeah, you know, in that one, Giovanni really... that combination of Kyogre and Clefairy just kind of worked against Henry, and I think it's just because he didn't really bring in the right Pokemon at the right time. Yeah, obviously, he did bring in Kyogre, which was a smart play to counter Giovanni's own Kyogre, but A, Giovanni's outsped, and B, it had Thunder. Knowing that, Henry's going to be able to adjust, I think, pretty nicely. You know, he has Togedemaru to possibly nuzzle the Kyogre or whatever else on Giovanni's team, which is relatively fast when you look at it. I mean, besides the Duskmane Necrozma, everything else has 90 plus speed, or base speed. On Henry's side, that's a couple Pokemon have that. But, yeah, I think Giovanni's definitely targeting more on speed, while Henry definitely has a bit more bulk. But overall, that's not really what matters. What matters is how you play the game. And in that round, Giovanni just played it really well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Clefairy come back out, but Henry, I think we're going to see a little bit of something called Metagross. You know, I think Metagross is really good here because not only, obviously you have to watch out for the Kyogre, but a lead of Metagross and Togedemaru, both Steel types, or Metagross and Incineroar, as long as you have Fake Out and Metagross, I think you can be okay, since, like, if we saw the Clefairy Kyogre lead again, you Fake Out the Kyogre, Meteor Mash the Clefairy, and then it's just Kyogre that's stuck there, and especially if it's Togedemaru, you can nuzzle it on the turn after, and slow it down. But we are going to see a switch up. Giovanni going to go for Gengar and Clefairy this turn, so if any Fake Out is going to hit, he's going to hit onto the Clefairy, and Kyogre and Togedemaru lead from Henry's side, so a bit different as well for him. Didn't bring in a Togedemaru last round, now he is. There's that Primal Reversion from Kyogre. And now we begin. Here we go. Now Gengar can Mega. We saw Giovanni have that Mega Gengar a bit earlier, I believe. And it really is such a huge threat. Just so many Pokemon. Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball is such a good combination of coverage. And then you can even go for the extra mile by going for something like Icy Wind or Taunt or Focus Blast. There's a lot of good options for that last move slot, in addition to, of course, Protect. But in this case, I don't know if that's necessarily the right play here. We see Henry, before the Shadow Tag activates, switch into Incineroar, and obviously Dark against Gengar is not very useful, and Gengar can't really hit Incineroar back unless it's carrying Focus Blast, so that Giovanni might need to struggle against, or gonna have to struggle against that. Plus, Gengar is a very fragile Pokemon, and against Kyogre, which has that insanely powerful Water Spout, it is going to be a tough spot here for Giovanni to recover from that. We see Gengar now Mega, Sludge Bomb onto the Kyogre. Does get the poisoning, so that puts a timer and eliminates some more Water Spout damage off of Henry. But we see Origin Pulse come out, connecting with this Gengar, doing just around the same amount of damage as a Scald. But instead of doing just the same amount of damage, it does, I think, like 2 HP more, so not a terrible spot to be in. Giovanni might be able to knock out this Kyogre thanks to that poisoning. It looks like if it gets a high damage roll, Kyogre will go down at the end of the turn, but Gengar will have to go down with it. unless Gengar Sludge Bomb critical or had a low damage roll in the last turn, now gets a high one, then we might have a shot here. Or a Helping Hand, yeah. So that's why Clefairy, no one really remembers that Clefairy is such a huge threat. Being able to do... Oh, it actually took that Helping Hand though. That Helping Hand is Sludge Bomb. But Clefairy is such a huge threat, being able to help... with... we did see, sorry, Snarl real quickly from Insero, but like I was saying, Clefairy is such a huge threat. Not only being able to follow me, but being able to Helping Hand and having all really good status moves in addition to really good bulk because of the Eviolite. So it's definitely an underrated Pokemon when it comes to bulk, I think. A lot of people think I'm like Stack Attacka at all, but you know, Clefairy is up there. And just like that, we saw the trade-off of Kyogre for Gengar, but now we're going to see Kyogre return to the field, but this time on Giovanni's side. And Yveltal revealing Henry's last Pokemon here. And once again, a Primal Reversion coming out, this time from Giovanni's Kyogre. Now here's the thing. We kind of are in a bit of an interesting spot. Because Henry's Yveltal can outspeed, and Yveltal is actually a pretty solid opponent for Kyogre. It's going to come down to really like the combination of Follow Me from Clefairy versus Henry's like knockoff or Darkest Lariat, depending on what he's running. Maybe Throat Chop even. Maybe U-turn. Maybe switch. Now with Gengar off the field, you can swap out if you want. Not necessarily the best spot to switch out though, unless you're Incineroar. But Yveltal's in a pretty decent spot right now, I think. Giovanni, we did see Thunder, so that's the only thing that Henry should really be threatened or concerned by, and we do see that Protect and the Follow Me. So, you know, that was kind of, the Follow Me was kind of obvious. Protect not so obvious, but Water Spout going to take out the Incineroar from Henry's side. And now he's left with a pretty decent spot, to be honest. Giovanni does have the advantage, once again, with this really powerful Kyogre and Clefairy combo. With Helping Hand and Follow Me, it's really hard to just focus on this Kyogre to get rid of it, because you have to get through the Clefairy first. Unless Togedemaru is on the field, because Togedemaru can Nuzzle, and that is so unpredictable, but it could pay off, you know? A Nuzzle on either one of Giovanni's Pokemon is going to really hurt him, because either Kyogre's not going to be able to attack, or Clefairy can't follow me, and you can just spam target Kyogre until, you know, it's down. So we are going to see Kyogre go for that Protect there. And Clefairy going to Protect as well, so avoiding any possible fake out from Togedemaru, which we will see that will connect with Kyogre slot. And Dark EMZ coming out. Okay. So Yveltal bringing back that move, that surprise move we kind of saw earlier. It is a very common item on Yveltal, but it is facing off against a protected Kyogre, so that's going to do 25% of damage compared to a normal amount. So could still do a decent amount. We saw it do like 80% on Kyogre, so now I'll do more like 20, and it didn't even really do that. So now I still think this game could go either way, with Giovanni having the scales tip in his favor just a little bit. And it's all going to come down to really Nuzzle with Togedemaru. You Nuzzle Clefairy, and in this case, we're going to see Foul Play first from Yveltal, but you Nuzzle Clefairy and hope that it is paralyzed enough for a... so Follow Me doesn't work, but we're going to see Zing Zap instead, and Zing Zap is going to actually not KO the Clefairy. And the Water Spout is going to get Henry's Pokemon both down to red health. Togedemaru is surviving thanks to this Focus Sash. Bit surprised we didn't see Nuzzle there. But, you know, I think Henry needs to Nuzzle. I really do. I don't think Zing Zap is going to KO the Kyogre unless he crits it. And the match is over. That's it. He's just going to forfeit it. So Pikachu is kind of shocked. He almost fell off the chair there. Get your hat back on, Pikachu. There you go. How do you look good? Doesn't he look good? Right? Okay. Well, congrats to Giovanni Costa for taking that match. Definitely a bit of a surprise there at the end, that Zing Zap almost knocking out the Clefairy, but not quite. So Giovanni Costa is going to take on the winner of Hector versus Ben, and that was Ben, as I am now being told. So we're going to see Giovanni Costa versus Ben Lee in just a moment, and Ben might go 2 for 2 now. He won last month's tournament. He might do it again now. Tune in just a few minutes and we're gonna find out. Pikachu says bye.